and welcome to the AI Lab by Optas.ai. This is episode 10, and today we're talking about a question many people are asking right now. Will AI replace jobs or transform them? As AI becomes part of more workplaces, it is changing how people work, what skills are in demand, and how different roles are evolving. In this episode, we'll look at what AI is actually changing, where human skills still matter most. Let's get into it.
Right now, major tech companies are they're basically blaming AI for tens of thousands of corporate layoffs. I mean, it is the dominant narrative in every financial headline you read today.
Yeah, you really can't escape it.
But at the exact same time, if you look at the raw economic data, it shows that AI is causing this massive 16.7% wage spike for the workers who actually remain in those very same sectors.
Right, which completely contradicts the whole idea of a simple, widespread jobs apocalypse.
Exactly.
You have this highly publicized wave of job destruction happening, right alongside one of the most aggressive periods of wealth generation and wage growth we have ever seen in the tech sector.
Well, welcome to this deep dive. Today, our mission is to cut through the anxiety and, frankly, the wildly conflicting narratives about artificial intelligence replacing your job.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise out there.
So much noise. So we are diving into a stack of hard 2026 data to figure out the actual mechanics of this transition. We're operating from this phenomenal synthesis. It's titled The AI Labor Market: Automation, Augmentation, and Career Churn.
It's a great paper.
It really is. It pulls together the most credible current data sets from the World Economic Forum, Stanford's Digital Economy Lab, Statistics Canada, and the actual Q1 2026 corporate layoff disclosure.
It's the hard numbers.
Exactly. And by the end of this deep dive, you are going to understand precisely who is losing their jobs right now, who is commanding higher salaries than ever before, and why the corporate press releases are deliberately obscuring a much messier financial truth.
And, my focus today is really to unpack the underlying mechanisms behind these numbers, because data is completely inert unless you understand the why and the how driving it.
Right.
If you understand the structural economic forces reshaping these industries, you can strategically position your own career rather than just, bracing for impact every time a new technology is announced.
Okay, let's unpack this. We need to establish the global baseline. Like, what are the long-term projections compared to what corporations are actually doing on the ground right now in 2026?
Yeah, that context is crucial.
Let's start with the macro view. The World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Report 2025. This survey covered employers representing over 14 million workers across 55 economies. And the headline finding from this: it is constantly weaponized in the media.
Oh, you see it absolutely everywhere. The headlines just scream that structural shifts are going to eliminate 92 million jobs by 2030.
It's a terrifying number out of context.
Right, but what they routinely omit is the second half of that exact same WEF projection, which estimates the creation of 170 million entirely new jobs over the exact same period.
Wait, so we are looking at a net global increase of 78 million jobs by the end of the decade?
Precisely. It's a massive net gain. And it's important to clarify that those 92 million displaced jobs, they aren't just vanishing into the ether because of a chatbot.
Right, there are other factors.
Exactly. The WEF attributes that displacement to a whole combination of things. AI, yes, but also the massive global transition to green energy, shifting demographics, and just broader economic volatility.
Wow.
The report suggests roughly 22% of today's jobs will be structurally disrupted. But that means the nature of the work changes fundamentally. It does not mean mass permanent unemployment.
Right.
The core takeaway from the global baseline is really that we are entering an era of unprecedented churn.
Churn, meaning like massive displacement running parallel to massive creation.
Exactly.
But when we look at the reality of mid-2026, the displacement side of that churn feels incredibly aggressive. I mean, we are seeing this relentless wave of layoffs, and the companies are explicitly pointing the finger directly at artificial intelligence.
Yeah, the optics are definitely intense right now.
Just to give you an idea, Amazon eliminated roughly 16,000 corporate roles in the first quarter alone. And CEO Andy Jassy stated very bluntly that they simply need fewer people to do the work being performed today. Oracle cut up to 30,000 positions, heavily targeting legacy support. Meta shed another 8,000 roles to reallocate capital toward AI research. Block, that's the parent company of SquareCut, a staggering 40% of its workforce, basically telling investors they can operate with smaller, flatter teams enabled by AI.
And The thing is, when a Fortune 500 CEO publicly states they are terminating thousands of employees because artificial intelligence has made their operations more efficient, the market tends to just accept that narrative at face value.
Because it sounds technologically inevitable.
Right, it sounds like the future arriving.
But the data exposes a massive inconsistency here. Nikkei Asia analyzed the Q1 2026 tech layoffs and attributed 48% of those cuts to AI efficiency. However, a parallel analysis by Rational FX looked at the exact same market period and concluded the real figure was only 20%.
That is a huge gap.
It is. The only reason the percentage appeared to grow as the quarter went on was because companies increasingly began framing their routine cuts as AI-driven, which introduces this brilliant concept called AI washing.
Why AI washing?
Yeah. AI washing is essentially corporate rebranding for standard budget cuts. You blame the shiny new technology to look forward-thinking and ruthlessly efficient to your shareholders, when the reality is you are just correcting the massive overhiring you did during the post-pandemic boom.
What's fascinating here is that AI washing doesn't mean AI is a total fiction in these layoffs.
Right.
It means AI is being utilized as a convenient futuristic smokescreen to hide a much more brutal financial reality.
Which is what? What are they hiding?
The sheer astronomical cost of the physical infrastructure required to run these AI models. You have to understand the capital expenditure happening right now.
It's massive, isn't
It's
it?
unbelievable. Microsoft, Amazon, and Meta are projected to spend a combined sum well into the hundreds of billions of dollars on AI infrastructure this year alone.
Hundreds of billions.
Yeah, we were talking about server farms, cooling systems, massive arrays of highly specialized GPUs. Hundreds of billions of dollars in capital expenditure cannot simply be willed into existence.
Right, you have to find that cash somewhere on the balance sheet.
Exactly. And corporate payroll is one of the very few financial levers a massive enterprise can pull instantly to free up billions in operational capital.
Oh, wow.
So they aren't laying people off because an AI is currently doing their specific job better. They are liquidating human payroll to purchase the concrete, steel, and silicon required to build the infrastructure of the future.
But blaming the AI for the layoffs just sounds much better on a quarterly earnings call than admitting you are slashing your workforce to buy a computer chip.
Exactly. It plays much better to Wall Street.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Because to figure out if AI is actually replacing workers on the ground outside of all that corporate spin, we have to look at the raw macroeconomic data. And the source points us to this baffling anomaly in the US tech sector.
This is one of my favorite data points.
It's wild. So since ChatGPT was unleashed in late 2022, the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas found that overall U.S. employment went up about 2.5% and wages increased by a healthy 7.5%. That's a normal functioning economy. But when you isolate the computer systems design sector, literally the very engineers and architects building the AI revolution employment actually declined by 5%.
Which initially looks like the doomsday scenario, right? Like a technology is hollowing out the very sector that created it.
But at the exact same time that headcount dropped by 5%, wages for the remaining workers in that sector skyrocketed by 16.7%.
Yeah.
If AI was simply a blunt instrument wiping out jobs, headcount and wages would crater together, wouldn't they?
Absolutely. This anomaly exposes the fundamental economic mechanism of the AI era. It all hinges on the difference between automation and augmentation.
Okay, break that down for us.
So, does a specific AI application automate a task, meaning it entirely replaces the human labor required to do it?
Right.
Or does it augment a task, meaning it dramatically amplifies the productive output of the human operating it?
So how does shedding 5% of your workforce lead to a 17% wage spike for everyone else?
It comes down to the type of knowledge being utilized. The workers who lost their jobs were primarily relying on codified knowledge.
Codified knowledge.
Yeah, codified knowledge is essentially textbook knowledge. It is structured, rule-based, repetitive, and heavily documented. Writing basic boilerplate code, running standard QA tests, doing routine data entry. AI automates codified knowledge beautifully.
Because it's literally trained on the textbooks and the existing code repositories.
Precisely. But the remaining workers, the ones commanding those huge 16.7% wage premiums, they rely on tacit knowledge.
Tacit knowledge?
Yes. Tacit knowledge is the unwritten experiential intelligence you gain from years in the field. It's complex judgment, navigating corporate politics, understanding nuanced client needs, and knowing which specific problem actually needs to be solved.
Right, the stuff you can't just look up.
Exactly. AI cannot automate tacit knowledge, but it can massively augment the person who possesses it.
So if I'm getting this, the AI acts like an incredibly fast, highly capable intern. It handles all the basic codified grunt work, the initial code generation, the data sorting instantly,
Yes.
which then frees up the senior manager, the person with the tacit knowledge, to do the work of 3 managers. Their productive output explodes, and therefore their market value and their wages explode, even as the overall size of their department shrinks.
That is the exact mechanism. The company needs fewer total people, but the people they retain are vastly more productive and highly compensated.
But wait, if the AI intern is doing all the basic coding and the routine data entry, what happens to the actual human interns, the recent graduates trying to get a foothold in the industry?
Well, you have just zeroed in on the single most vulnerable demographic in this entire economic shift. The entry-level workforce is facing a severe structural squeeze right now.
The Stanford Digital Economy Lab actually called this study canaries in the coal mine.
Yeah, led by economist Eric Brynjolfsson.
Right. And they didn't just use surveys. They used massive, hard ADP payroll data sets to track the actual U.S. workforce. And they found that early career workers, specifically those aged 22 to 25 in occupations most exposed to AI, suffered a 13% relative decline in employment compared to other fields.
And that data point is critical because it isolates the exact demographic whose daily work consists almost entirely of those easily automated, codified tasks we just discussed.
Yeah.
When you are 23 years old, you simply haven't had the time to develop valuable tacit knowledge. Your value to the company is largely your ability to execute routine, structured work.
And as of April 2026, a follow-up dashboard tracking this specific ADP data showed this employment gap isn't stabilizing. It is widening by roughly half a percentage point every single month.
It is, but it's important to provide context here, though. Since ChatGPT was introduced, annual employment growth across these highly AI-exposed occupations did actually increase by 1.1%.
Okay, so it didn't go negative.
Right. The issue is that occupations with the lowest exposure to AI grew by 2%. So the entry-level jobs aren't being totally eradicated overnight. They're just growing at a significantly depressed rate.
Former U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics head Erica McIntarfer pointed out something really crucial here, though. She noted that unemployment in AI-exposed roles is actually rising slower than unemployment across the rest of the broader labor market.
Oh, absolutely.
The really aggressive slowdown recently has hit manual labor and construction roles, which obviously AI has nothing to do with.
Which is a necessary reminder that macroeconomics, interest rates, inflation, supply chains, those are still the primary drivers of global employment. AI is a powerful undercurrent, but it isn't the only force shaping the labor market.
Let's look at how this plays out internationally, because the Canadian data provides a really fascinating contrast. According to Statistics Canada, the share of Canadian businesses utilizing AI doubled from 6% in the 2023-2024 period up to 12% by 2024-2025.
That is a massive leap in adoption.
It really is. Yet, despite that surge, the percentage of businesses reporting job cuts specifically attributed to AI stayed perfectly flat at 6%.
Interesting.
And TD Economics published research showing that Canadian workers in low complementarity roles, meaning jobs where AI is highly likely to replace the human rather than augment them, they are faring notably better than their American counterparts, who have seen growth in those roles essentially flatline.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it raises a critical question about the Canadian economy. Statistics Canada estimates that nearly 60% of all jobs in Canada have some level of exposure to AI.
Wow, 60%.
Yeah, it's an incredibly high concentration of cognitive, university-educated roles. So if the structural exposure is that high, why isn't the Canadian labor market reflecting the same entry-level damage we see in the Stanford data?
Is the Canadian labor market actually more resilient, or are Canadian businesses just slower to adopt the tech, meaning the entry-level hit is just delayed?
It is not resilience, it is a structural lag.
Okay.
Yeah, Canadian businesses historically lag significantly behind the United States in terms of capital investment and aggressive technology deployment. They are adopting AI, sure, but they are not yet reorganizing their entire corporate structures around it at the scale Silicon Valley is.
So it's coming.
The impact on those low complementarity entry-level jobs isn't being magically avoided in Canada. It is simply delayed. The vulnerability is entirely present.
That makes sense. Although youth hiring numbers in Canada are undeniably weak right now.
They are, but untangling the cause is difficult. experts like Chris Roberts from the Canadian Labour Congress, along with analysts from Indeed's Hiring Lab Canada, point out that this weakness began manifesting before generative AI even hit the mainstream.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Indeed's data shows the decline in postings for highly exposed jobs started well before late 2022, so that youth hiring slump is likely driven by broader economic cooling, high interest rates, and trade tensions, rather than an immediate AI shock.
It's incredibly complex, and it's reassuring to see that even the top economists fundamentally disagree on how this will ultimately play out.
Completely.
You have Eric Brynjolfsson at Stanford pointing to his payroll data, showing a clear, measurable, and widening negative effect on early career workers. But then you have MIT economist and Nobel laureate Daron Acemoglu, who looks at the exact same technological landscape and remains highly skeptical.
Acemoglu's perspective is fascinating.
Yeah, his macroeconomic models project far smaller productivity gains and much less severe labor market disruption than Brynjolfsson anticipates.
Right, because Acemoglu's skepticism is rooted in historical precedent. Historically, massive technological shifts, like, the introduction of electricity or the personal computer, they take decades to actually reshape corporate productivity.
Because it's hard to change human habits.
Exactly. You can't just drop a new tool into a company and instantly see a 40% efficiency gain.
Yeah.
You have to completely redesign how the business operates, which is incredibly slow and expensive.
And Brynjolfsson disagrees.
Brynjolfsson, conversely, believes the generative, adaptable nature of this specific AI bypasses a lot of those historical friction points. But that open, rigorous disagreement between Nobel-level economists proves that this is a live, unsettled, empirical debate.
No one has a crystal ball.
Exactly. If anyone tells you they have total certainty that AI will cause mass unemployment, or total certainty that it will be entirely harmless, they are, frankly, misrepresenting the current economic reality.
Well said. We spent a lot of time analyzing the squeeze at the entry level and the jobs being displaced, but we cannot ignore the other half of that World Economic Forum projection, the 170 million new jobs being created.
Yes, let's look at the growth.
The data dives into LinkedIn's 2026 Jobs on the Rise report, and the number one fastest growing job title in the United States right now is AI engineer. That role is up 143% year over year. Overall postings for AI and machine learning roles surged 163%.
And we're not just talking about a few thousand specialized roles in Silicon Valley here.
Yeah.
LinkedIn's global data tracks 1.3 million newly created AI-related positions. We're talking AI solutions, architects, AI content creators, AI product managers, AI governance specialists. We are also seeing a massive surge in roles like MLOps.
Wait, what exactly is MLOps?
Machine learning operations. It's the engineering discipline focused on keeping these massive AI models stable, secure, and functioning efficiently in a live corporate environment.
Okay.
3 years ago, that title barely existed outside of research labs. Today, it is a critical, highly compensated piece of corporate infrastructure.
It is the creation of an entirely new economic ecosystem, and PwC released their 2026 Global AI Jobs Barometer, which analyzed over 1 billion job postings across 6 continents. They found that companies operating in sectors highly exposed to AI are experiencing 40% higher productivity growth.
Wow.
And counter to the doomsday narrative, those highly exposed companies are actually raising wages and expanding their headcounts faster than companies with low AI exposure.
Which perfectly illustrates the augmentation effect at a macro level.
Right.
If a company uses AI to become 40% more productive, they don't just fire 40% of their staff and stay the same size. They use that immense efficiency to aggressively expand their market share, launch new products, and undercut competitors.
And managing that rapid expansion requires hiring more people.
Exactly. And paying a premium for top talent.
The breakdown of industry exposure here is really telling. High risk includes data entry, administrative support, basic bookkeeping, and entry-level coding. It is heavily reliant on that codified, repetitive, text-based work we talked about.
Yeah, the prime targets for automation.
Then mixed risk includes legal support and manufacturing. The routine document review or assembly line work can be automated, but the nuanced legal judgment or complex physical troubleshooting still heavily requires a human.
Right.
Lower risk encompasses healthcare, skilled trades, creative direction, and senior management. These roles demand extreme tacit knowledge, physical dexterity, or deep interpersonal trust. And then you have the net job creators. The green economy, elder care, delivery logistics, physical construction.
It's a massive reshuffling.
It is. But hold on, I have a thought. It is fantastic that AI solutions architect job postings are up over 100%. But a displaced data entry clerk or a laid-off customer support rep does not just magically transition into an AI governance specialist over the weekend.
No, absolutely not.
The friction there is immense. You can't just seamlessly slide human beings from the disrupted column on a spreadsheet over to the newly created column.
You are absolutely right to highlight that. The macroeconomic data can look very clean and balanced from a distance. One job lost, one job created. But on the ground, for the individual worker caught in the middle, the transition is incredibly jarring.
It's painful.
It really is. The creation of 1 million high-paying technical roles does absolutely nothing to alleviate the sudden income shock and the immense retraining burden placed on the administrative worker whose job was just automated out of existence. The friction is real, and it carries a heavy human cost.
So, what does this all mean? Let's distill all of this 2026 data down into actionable reality for you, the listener. Because AI is not a cinematic apocalypse sweeping across the globe. It is a highly targeted, structural reshaping of economic opportunity. And you now have the data to navigate it.
Exactly. And the path forward depends entirely on where you sit in the labor market. If you are early in your career, the Stanford data is a clear warning sign.
Definitely.
You cannot rely on codified textbook knowledge to secure your position. You must proactively, aggressively seek out roles and projects that force you to develop tacit knowledge client management, complex strategic planning, and messy, ambiguous problem solving.
And for the experienced professionals listening, the senior managers, the creative directors,
The Dallas Fed data is incredibly validating for you. Your tacit knowledge, your contextual judgment, and your ability to evaluate the output of an AI system are becoming exponentially more valuable. Your goal should be absolute mastery of AI tools to augment your existing expertise. Do that, and your earning potential increases dramatically.
And if you are currently working in one of those highly routine, codified roles, administrative support, basic data processing, you need to take this shift seriously. The exposure is real. The move here is to start proactively building adjacent skills that rely on human interaction or strategic oversight.
Spot on.
And for our listeners in Canada or similar knowledge-heavy economies, do not mistake a structural delay for permanent immunity. Enjoy the current stability, but recognize that with a 60% exposure rate, the reorganization is coming.
It's inevitable.
Ultimately, the one universal truth across every single data set we looked at today is that workers who actively learn to use AI tools achieve stronger employment security and higher wage outcomes. The goal is always augmentation.
This raises an important question, though, and it's one the economic models haven't fully solved yet.
Oh, what's that?
Well, we've clearly established that AI massively rewards experienced workers by automating away the entry-level grunt work. But if AI successfully handles all of those foundational codified tasks, how does the next generation of 22-year-olds ever gain the basic, hands-on experience required to eventually develop that highly valued tacit knowledge?
That's a great point.
Are we sleepwalking into a massive tacit knowledge deficit 10 or 15 years from now when our current generation of augmented experienced professionals finally retires?
Wow, that is the real lingering threat hiding in the data. If we automate the entire bottom rung of the career ladder, we might find that no one knows how to climb the rest of it.
Thank you for listening to episode 10 of the AI Lab. We hope this episode gave you a clearer perspective on whether AI will replace jobs or transform them, and what that could mean for the future of work. Please subscribe for more, and we invite you to join our community of learners by signing up to receive your free resource guide. If you have any questions or feedback, please feel free to reach out at contact@Optas.ai. Thanks again for listening.